culture that set Iran apart from South Asia and from Central Asia, Anatolia, Mesopotamia, or Arabia. The book consists of an introduction, 4 parts, and an epilogue. Part 1, 1501 to 1797, covers the early modern era, from the rise and then shaping of the Safavid Empire to the end of the 18th century. Part 2, 1797 to 1911, covers the long 19th century, from the consolidation of the Qajar dynasty and encounters with European powers to the constitutional revolution at the turn of the 20th century. Part 3, 1914 to 1977, covers developments from World War I and its aftermath to the end of the Pahlavi era. Part 4, 1977 to 1989, is devoted to the shaping of the Islamic Revolution during its first phase. In this final part, wherever I deemed it necessary, I have made brief observations about the post-1989 period in the hope of bringing the narrative to a close. I tried to strike a balance between early modern and modern periods, even though in practice about 2/3 of the book is devoted to the 20th century, given the weight of the events between the Constitutional Revolution and the Islamic Revolution. Attention to long-term themes also helped determine the book's size and organization. I strived to trace overarching themes and articulate arguments while still preserving a narrative. The famous verse by the Persian poet Rumi often echoed in my mind. The secret of the beloved is best to be told in the stories of the others. The reader will notice throughout such recognized and stubborn themes as natural resources and the limits of human habitat, the tension between the sedentary center and the nomadic periphery, the interplay between the state and the urban elite, including the clerical establishment, tension between rulers and ministers, the chronic resurgence of alternative socio-religious movements, and the persistence of cultural and artistic memories. In the 19th and 20th centuries, a greater engagement with European imperial powers, greater awareness of material weaknesses, dilemmas of reform and development, the ideal and realities involved in becoming modern, evolving notions of national identity, and the mastery of internal economic resources all loomed large. Finally, greater reliance on exportable natural resources helped the state consolidate and further its modernizing project. Yet, over time, an autocratic vision of transforming Iran lost its popular mandate, generated nostalgia for a fast-disappearing world, and fostered a revolutionary aptitude with strong Islamic undercurrents. There are topics and personalities that are absent from this book, or appear in passing, and others who take up perhaps more than their fair share. Men, far more than women, dominate this narrative. Rewriting an essentially patriarchal history is formidable, if not at times impossible. The same can also be said about the silenced multitudes of the downtrodden, the marginalized, the nonconformists, and the powerless in a master narrative, often penned by agents of political power and compilers of hagiographies. I have tried, nevertheless, to retrieve some of these voices and incorporate them into my story. In retrospect, debates about gender and ethnicity, everyday life, popular culture, public and private spheres, ecology and environment, and complexities of cultural identities could have received greater attention. Yet I hope I have shown at least historical glimpses of a society and a culture more diverse and more complex than often appear in monolithic and monotonous accounts of Iran. Reference to poetry and literary trends, for instance, is one way to enrich our understanding of those recesses of collective memory that the official narrative often ignores or denies. These are the contours of a collective memory that connects the Safavid times to the Qajar era, and to the Constitutional Revolution and the rise of Pahlavi state, the national movement of the post-war era, and eventually to contemporary times. The presence of my own voice in the style and substance of this book is undeniable, and this is not foreign to those students of history who seek to strike a balance between historical objectivity and the deeper traits of authorial subjectivity. What can playfully be called history with attitude does not aim to unfairly interrogate the past or pass ahistorical judgments, but instead to raise critical questions, to problematize the conventional wisdom, and